In 1956, something utterly unexpected happened in the glittering heart of Las Vegas, at the New Frontier Hotel. This was not your ordinary Las Vegas story of dazzling lights and extravagant shows. It was a moment that would shake the very foundations of what Vegas represented. The New Frontier, known for its Western flair and opulent decor, was about to host an act so different, so revolutionary, that many in the audience had no idea what to expect. On April 23, 1956, the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley, stepped onto the stage of the New Frontier. At just 21 years old, Elvis was already a sensation in the South, but this was his first big gig on the legendary Las Vegas Strip. The crowd was a mix of curious onlookers and seasoned Vegas goers, many puzzled by who this young man was and what he was doing there. Elvis Presley was not just any performer. Born in Tupelo, Mississippi in 1935, he grew up in a small, modest family. His early life was marked by hardship, with a father who struggled to find steady work. Elvis found solace in music, playing the guitar and singing in school talent shows. He began recording songs at Sun Records in Memphis, where his unique blend of country and rhythm and blues caught the attention of Sam Phillips, the label's owner. His first hit, a raw, energetic version of That's All Right Mama, sent shockwaves through the South. By 1956, Elvis was a regional superstar, touring and captivating teenage audiences with his energetic performances. But he was not yet the national phenomenon he would soon become. That was about to change in Vegas. The idea to bring Elvis to the New Frontier was Colonel Tom Parker's, Elvis's manager. It was a risky move. Elvis's high-energy, rockabilly style was a far cry from the elegant, slow-paced shows typical of Vegas at the time. The hotel's grand opening a year prior had ended in disaster when the star performer, Mario Lanza, backed out at the last minute. Elvis was a gamble, but Parker believed the young singer could draw a crowd. Elvis arrived in Vegas with his backing band, consisting of guitarist Scotty Moore, bassist Bill Black, and drummer DJ Fontana. They were to perform a short set as the headliner, after Freddie Martin's orchestra and comedian Shecky Greene. Elvis was paid $15,000 for 2 weeks of performances, a substantial sum for the time, but Parker insisted on cash to avoid any financial risks. As the lights dimmed and the audience settled in, the atmosphere was tense. Freddie Martin played some soft, familiar tunes, followed by Shecky Greene's raucous comedy. Then, Elvis took the stage. Backed by his rhythm group, he launched into his set with a mix of songs that would become his signature style, high energy, with a blend of rock and country. The response was immediate and stark. Many in the audience were taken aback. The loud, passionate performances Elvis was known for were a jarring contrast to the refined, slow music of the Vegas crowd. A high roller, visibly uncomfortable, stood up, cried out, "What is all this yelling and noise?" and stormed out to the casino. The critics were not kind either. Bill Willard of Variety wrote that Elvis's loud braying was out of place at a champagne party. Newsweek described him as like a jug of corn liquor at a champagne party. For Elvis and his band, used to the wild cheers and pandemonium of their concerts, the silence and polite applause were disorienting. Bill Black, Elvis's bassist, later recalled, "For the first time in months we could hear ourselves when we played out of tune." Elvis himself felt the weight of the audience's disapproval. "It was strictly an adult audience," he said. "The first night especially, I was absolutely scared stiff." This debut in Vegas was a harsh lesson for Elvis and his team. The young musician, who had been building a following based on raw, unbridled energy, was met with resistance. But it was also a pivotal moment. It would force Elvis to refine his act, to find a way to connect with a broader audience while staying true to his roots. The shock of that first night in Vegas was just the beginning of a journey that would change the face of music and culture forever. When Elvis first went to Las Vegas in 1956, it was not going well. He was out of his element, struggling to connect with the audience. He didn't dress right, wearing a dirty baseball jacket that one critic described as shit. It was clear to Shecky Greene, a well-known figure in show business, that Elvis needed help. Green advised Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager, to make some changes. So for the rest of Elvis's time in Vegas, he and his band wore nicer clothes, sport jackets, slacks, and bow ties. But even with the wardrobe change, Elvis still wasn't the star he needed to be. He opened the show with a slower, bluesier version of Heartbreak Hotel, changing the lyrics to something more relatable. He joked with the audience, acknowledging the difficulties he was having. Despite the challenges, Elvis enjoyed his time in Vegas. He wasn't there to gamble much but did explore other entertainment options. He checked out other performers, went to movies, and even rode bumper cars. He met some interesting people like Judy Spreckles, a sugarcane heiress, and Vampira, a quirky TV host. One of the most important things that happened during his Vegas stay was that Elvis was inspired by another performer, Freddie Bell and the Bell Boys. Their version of Hound Dog influenced Elvis to adopt the song into his act and eventually record it. This became one of his biggest hits. Although Elvis's 1956 Vegas trip was seen as a misstep by some, it wasn't entirely without success. The hotel that booked him, the New Frontier, was so impressed that they invited him back. This showed that there was potential there. Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager, defended the booking, saying it gave Elvis exposure to a new audience. Even Shecky Greene, who wasn't entirely convinced, couldn't deny the influence Elvis had. A well-known journalist, Bing Crosby, predicted that Elvis would become a huge star in show business, a prediction that came true. After his initial visit, Las Vegas became a favorite spot for Elvis. He kept returning, especially after his movie shoots were over. He went there to relax and unwind. In 1963, he filmed Viva Las Vegas, a movie that highlighted the city's charm. He even got married there in 1967 to Priscilla Beaulieu, in a ceremony that drew attention from around the world. In 1969, Elvis made a much-anticipated return to live performances in Vegas, at the brand-new International Hotel. This comeback was a huge deal, not just for Elvis but for Las Vegas itself. The show was massive, with a big band, vocal groups, and an orchestra. It was a statement both for Elvis's comeback and for the city's ability to host big events. It showed that Las Vegas was still a place where dreams could happen, and where a star like Elvis could shine bright again. In the 1960s, Las Vegas was thriving like never before. It was a place where top stars from all over came to perform. This was a special time for Vegas, often called the Golden Age of entertainment. The city was famous for its glamour, excitement, and nightlife. Stars from Hollywood, TV, Broadway, nightclubs, and even Paris music halls all came together here. Las Vegas proudly called itself the entertainment capital of the world. Las Vegas began transforming in the 1940s. Small hotels along U.S. Route 91, leading to Los Angeles, realized that famous entertainers were key to drawing in customers. The 1950s saw more hotels pop up, making Las Vegas a hub for the biggest names in show business. By 1960, the city was mature and bustling. The Strip was lined with many resort hotels competing to offer the best entertainment. With non-stop flights from the East Coast since 1960, Vegas became more accessible to people all over the country. At the same time, Havana, once a popular spot for gamblers, closed down after Fidel Castro took over Cuba. Before Las Vegas became a star attraction, big city nightclubs were losing popularity. People were watching more TV and listening to radio instead, but TV actually helped Las Vegas. It provided a fresh source of stars who were well known to families across America. These stars would perform in Vegas, drawing in audiences who might not have gone to nightclubs before. The real spark for Vegas' 1960s boom came with the Rat Pack shows in early 1960. Frank Sinatra, along with his friends Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop, put on a wild show at the Sands Hotel. They performed songs, told jokes, drank, and improvised humorously. This 4-week show was a huge hit, attracting celebrities and becoming a symbol of Vegas' cool image. The Rat Pack became the face of Las Vegas, representing its lively and glamorous spirit. During the 1960s, Las Vegas had an incredible array of entertainment options. A visitor could see a wide range of acts, from comedians to singers, dancers, and even sports stars. Stars like George Burns, Jane Russell, Donald O'Connor, Ella Fitzgerald, Maurice Chevalier, and many others performed at different venues. Smaller lounges featured jazz singers and comedians, while larger shows included French production spectacles and Broadway musicals. Almost every big-name performer from America appeared on a Vegas stage during this time. Legends from Broadway, top pop singers, and famous comedians all made an appearance. Sports stars like baseball players Maury Wills and Denny McLain would sometimes perform or just hang out in Vegas. Even Muhammad Ali defended his title in the city. In 1967, Evel Knievel tried a daring motorcycle leap over fountains. Though he crashed, Vegas thrived. In 1960, Las Vegas had just 59,000 people, plus around 20,000 visitors daily. The town was still quite small but full of energy. Stars would socialize together, filling each other's shows when needed. Performers like Sammy Davis Jr. would host big all-night parties for the entertainment community. Life in Vegas was relaxed and friendly, with everyone knowing each other. The hotels treated performers like royalty. They offered luxurious accommodations, delicious meals, and generous credits at casinos. This made Vegas a unique and coveted place to work. The town was a last hurrah for the classic big city nightclub scene. Stars and audience members dressed up, adding to the glamour. Showgirls decorated the casinos, drawing in gamblers. The presence of mob affiliates added an element of excitement and danger. Paul Anka, a musician who lived in Vegas, described it as a magical place. He said it was a dream world where life felt sweet and carefree. This was an alluring vision of the American dream for many. Las Vegas in the 1960s was an exciting time of unmatched glamour and entertainment. It was a place where dreams came true, and the magic of performance captivated everyone who visited. Though times have changed, the spirit of Vegas' golden age lives on, continuing to inspire and entertain people around the world.